Howdy neighbors, welcome back. Your eyes do not deceive you. It is a Genesis profile, but it is spicy. We're not gonna get too deep into detail. This is kind of gonna be like a quick profile into it. We're not gonna cover too much of the cards, only the ones that matter. Then we get into the Mulligan segment and of course the combo of the profile. It's a very funny one, it's super gimmicky, but I hope you guys like it. If you do, of course, like, share, comment, and subscribe. So this is Giant Deity of Distant World Valkerion. This used to be an archetype that used to be very strong and prevalent within the V era and some parts, early stages of Premium, especially when we had the old ruling with stand triggers of Valkerion, because when placed from hand, look at the top 5 cards on the top of your deck. This can only be placed on the astral plane, by the way. Put one card from among them into your drop zone. Until end of turn, this unit's drives is the same as the grade of the card put into drop zone. So you have a Supreme Dragon Tree of Annihilation, Griffin Gila Vertex. It is a grade 11. So you get 11 drive checks, plus the 2 from your base Vanguard. And if you have enough soul, you can go into Marduk, which gets you an extra drive check as well, which potentially hits you more triggers. Wild. Then another card that helps us get Vertex potentially on the top of our deck, since we do check and soul charge a whole lot. Wondering how do we even get a grade 5 on a field? It's via the skill of our astral planes, which is a older mechanic that would create a rearguard circle behind our Vanguard, which would allow you to call it to that circle. And you have multiple copies of these because a lot of your units and a lot of your astral poets can actually search for it. It's especially with the Only Heavily Dragon, Aeones's Dragon. When placed, counterblast 1. Search your deck up to one astral deity, reveal it, and add it to hand. And then shuffle your deck. It's Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. If you put a card into hand, you get a force marker. The force marker didn't really matter which one you go with, Force 1 or Force 2. Force 2 is a lot of pressure, especially for what you want to do. It's multiple drive checks, and as you noticed, we're only playing 2 heal triggers in this deck. It's focused on a lot of crit, a lot of rushing, not really caring too much about you surviving. You're making sure that your first grade 3 turn is going to be the most devastating. Then the other cards that stand out a whole lot too is that we're running Actress of Fervent Will, which also gives us a force marker if we reveal an astral deity. It also counts for the 2 extra grades in soul, since you do need to pay the cost of Uranus of soul blasting equal to the grade of 5 to create your astral plane. You could be on another unit that creates the astral plane for you, but you really want to be on Uranus, not just because it creates the astral plane for you, it creates it for the turn for you. Since the other astral poets only have them active as a continuous for when it's continuously open, Uranus activates it for you for the whole rest of the turn. Especially when you stride on your unit, the astral plane disappears, since it's continuous, it covers the card. Another grade 1 that's very important in this archetype is Beer Crux of Stratification. When retired from the Guardian Circle, put it into Soul, which feeds into the cost for Uranus to Soul Blast, and it also feeds your other Soul Blasts as well. Vanguard Circle, when placed, Soul Blast 1, reveal an astral poet or astral deity to your hand, and you add the Beer Crux to hand. You have to ride on this to be able to resolve this. It's very important. And another very important card that you also want to be hitting too is Decay of Just Path. It gives you a force marker if you happen to put a card from your hand into Soul, and you get to add 2 astral poets. And it's a way of you getting more force markers. It's all good utility. For our overtrigger, we are running red overtrigger, which does restand any of your rear guards, and it allows you to attack twice. And especially if you happen to put a force 2 on the marker where your astral deity is on, it gives you that extra pressure push that you're definitely going to need, and especially if it's on overtrigger numbers, it's going to be almost impossible for your opponent to stop, right? I guess you could just give the 100 million to another rearguard, and then the deity just gets the extra restand effect. So you can just choose, entirely up to you. And then with that, the G zone is also standard. This time for this video, I will be putting this list in the description so that you can proxy this and test this out for yourself. It's a very, very fun list. My friend, hopefully I'll send this as a link to them, so then they could probably put more of an overview of more information that you'll need to care for. And outside of my combo, we'll see. Alright? Cool. And here in the G zone, anything else that really stands out, we play 3 Marduk because you do tend to soul charge a decent amount. It is still Genesis, so you will be soul charging a decent amount in this deck. And of course, whenever you get drive checks from this unit, your drive checks goes to soul, so all of your drive checks do not get added to hand. So you will be able to definitely be able to pay the Marduk cost of being able to stride after. And now to the mulligans and then to combo. Cards to keep are as follows: Beacrux of Stratification, Actress of Fervent Wills, and Origin Deity of Heavenly Light, Uranus. Those are going to be some of your most important cards to hit. You might even need to probably G-assist to hit some of these. It's going to hurt a whole lot if you don't hit the pieces for it, but it is extremely explosive when you land any of them. So, here we have our combo. I already have my Astral Plane activated, but I'll pay the cost here to show you. Since we do have Actress in our soul, it counts as a grade 4. We just need a grade 1 to resolve it, and we're good to go. Our Astral Plane is now currently open. You cannot move any normal units into it because they can't exist. They go to drop zone. And any drive checks that you do get from your Valkerion goes to soul. So you don't have to worry about soul. We're currently on 1 soul, but it's not going to matter soon. Here we have our Valkerion. We're going to call down in a second. Reverence Rush Dragon. For the sake of ease, you can try to hit into your Veritex, but it also works that if you hit another Valkerion, there's extra 5 drive checks as well. So here we have that. We put a Veritex on top of our deck. Call out Valkerion. We check the top 5. Oh wow, look at that. We hit our Veritex. That's crazy. We have no soul, but that doesn't matter. The attack order will be as follows. We can swing with any of our front row rear guards. And then, of course, having 2 Astral Poets in our back row that we used before, so that we can use Origin Deity's effect to rest any of our Astral Poets. We can also rest our Vanguard for the skill 2 as well, but that's not what you want to do. So we swing with any of our grade 2s, 3s, anything else except for Valkerion yet. So let's swing with Decay for 18. That's alright. Then we swing with Valkerion, and we have 11 drive checks. 1. We have a stand trigger. We give the stand effect to the Decay. 2nd, 3rd, another stand trigger. We possibly give Reverence Rush power. We could have also attacked with Reverence Rush into our rear guard 2 as well, so that we get to resolve all of the stand triggers as much as possible. It's entirely up to you. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Heal trigger. We might have been on a point of damage here, but this combo doesn't require any counterblast, so you don't need to worry about it. We'll just give that power to Van. Doesn't really matter. We're on 8 right now. 9. We have a crit. That goes to Valkerion. 10. Oh, well, we hit OT. We hit over trigger, so that's pretty good. We can give power here. Then we give the restand effect to the Reverence Rush Dragon, since the Valkerion is currently rested, since you can only choose one of your stood rear guards to resolve it. Then we draw off of the crit. Then we hit, that's 10, and now 11 for crit. We give the crit effect. So we give power over here. It's one that I hit a bit. And we give crit over there. And then this can hit twice. Here we rest these 2. Restand. All of these now go to soul. All the cards that we've drive checked. So now, if we want to resolve the skill again of fighting another Valkerion or paying to open our astral plane again, because it's going to disappear end of turn. Now we can do so. This crit is off of the draw, so I get to keep one of the crits. I get to keep one of the cards, since one of them was over trigger. And then we do -5 crits, so we still got 6. We've hit 2 of our stand triggers already, so we'll swing with Decay again. Then we swing for 6 drive checks. 1. Crit again. We probably can give power and crit to here. 2nd. 3rd. 4th. Stand trigger again. Restand this power here. 5th. And 6th. And then these again go all to soul. We could also, since we have already resolved the stand trigger too, we could choose the Valkerion for the stand effect as well. Since they won't have it won't have any more drive checks anymore anyway. So you could do that too. Then here, if we happen to have a CB, we can go into Mardark. And then we have this 400 million twice with 3 crit. Again, because we drove so much, the rest needs to go to soul actually. There we go. Since we drove so much through our deck, we have all of this soul that we have access to. It's so easy. And then after this turn, we could probably, if we survive any of their pressure, we can go into Jagda Naruga to retire anything that they guard with. Especially if they're at high enough damage, we could just get rid of all of their shields that they put into the Guardian Circle. So they need to have a bunch of PGs potentially. So there we have it, Valkerion. Who would have thought in 2024 we'd probably see somebody trying to cook this deck up? I didn't. I sure didn't. But that's just a pleasant surprise. As you can see, Premium has like a lot of cool and interesting decks that you can have access to as long as you just give it a try. With that being said, be awesome, stay awesome, have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in and stopping on by. Till next time.